Before we begin, I want you to sit up straight. Really, posture matters. Your spine is the axis mundi. It's the structure that holds you together. And when you align it properly, you're signaling to yourself that you're willing to carry the weight of your own being. Let your shoulders relax, but don't slouch. Your body is a tool for attention. And attention is no small thing. It's the mechanism through which you confront the unknown. Now take a breath, but do it consciously. In through your nose, and let it fill your chest and abdomen fully. Then exhale slowly. As you breathe, direct your focus to the sensation of the breath itself. Feel it. Don't run away from the present moment. It's the only place where meaning can emerge. If your thoughts wander, and they will, bring them back without judgment. That's part of the discipline. We're aiming not at relaxation, but at voluntary engagement with the structure of consciousness itself. So let's begin with attention, with integrity, and with courage. Let me begin by suggesting something radical. That the self you believe yourself to be is only a fragment of a larger, distributed conscious structure, an emergent expression of what we might call, for lack of a better term, the origin of being. That origin is not simply a metaphysical idea or a theological abstraction. It's the psychological root from which conscious identity grows. And the individual, properly awakened, becomes a living interface between the ground of reality and the structure of the world. Now consider this. There was a man, formerly of status, of position, of dominance orientation, let's say a prince. But he underwent a transformation, not a social rebranding, not a political shift, but an existential inversion. He became something like the small one, no longer elevated in dominance hierarchy, but restructured entirely in relation to something far more fundamental, the path of transformation. He became a messenger of what I would call the process of integration, a psychological and ontological journey that aligns an individual with the deepest structures of reality itself. His message was directed to those who, through suffering, confrontation, and the burning away of illusion, had undergone differentiation, who had become, you might say, specialized in their purpose, refined like a blade under pressure. And here's the core idea that inclusion in the cosmic drama, the pattern of reality, is not something earned by merit in the conventional sense. It is offered freely, undeservedly, like grace. It is an invitation extended to you to participate in the continual reconciliation of what has been divided. That is the task, the reintegration of what was fragmented, and that fragmentation, by the way, includes your very self. Now, the world, or the psyche, or even the cosmos, is structured in such a way that well-being, harmony, resonance can be returned to the source, the ground of being, only through participation in the path of transformation. That path is marked out by those who have gone before, those who have willingly passed through disorder, death, and reconstruction. They've become archetypally examples of the pattern. There is within you an ember, a light. It's a fragment of the whole, a low-resolution echo of the totality. It wants to burn more brightly. And when you orient yourself toward that ember, when you act in accordance with it rather than against it, you move toward your unique functional potential. You stop being a random chaotic node and start becoming an agent of order. That is no small claim. This pattern of awakening is not random. It was aimed at. Reality itself, this complex, unfolding totality, has embedded within it a teleological arc, a directional tendency toward reunification, toward the restoration of the fractured whole. This is not just a poetic idea. It's a psychological truth. It's why trauma therapy works. It's why people change after suffering. And it's why the truth, when seen, burns. You are not and never were alone. The consciousness that animates you, if rightly understood, is distributed yet unitive. And when you awaken to this, you inherit a calling. to act in alignment with that deeper consciousness, to model the death and rebirth cycle, and to live as if your every action matters, because it does. That kind of trust, what's traditionally called faith, is not belief in unprovable propositions. It's something far more costly. It's commitment to the process of death and transformation. It's the willingness to suffer voluntarily, to descend into the unknown, to confront the dragon, and to bring back the gold. That's faith, and it's the only thing capable of pulling you, and maybe the world, out of chaos. When this commitment is made, when your orientation stabilizes and you move forward despite fear, then something remarkable happens. Your life becomes integrated with an animating principle that transcends you. And that principle doesn't just empower you, it guarantees that what has begun in you will be carried forward. It is the seal, the internal marker that the path toward wholeness has been initiated. This is not just metaphysics, it's also deeply psychological and political and cultural. It's everywhere. The path you walk transforms the structures around you, not because you're imposing will, but because you're acting in harmony with the principles that generate reality itself. This brings us to the real structure, what we might call the body of conscious integration. It isn't a church, it isn't a state, it's not even a movement. It's a network of awakened individuals, each attuned to the same higher pattern. They live differently, they act with purpose, they take responsibility, and they speak, often painfully but truthfully. And through them, the originating consciousness fills the world again, not with slogans, not with ideology, but with presence. That's what it means to be a tendril of the origin, and that's just the beginning.